What is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome to Steelers Almighty. We appreciate you all being in here, getting up with this morning to talk some Steelers football, man. We got some stuff to discuss. So I appreciate you all being in here. Man, the lot of things going on with the Steelers, even right now, man. The talk of Aaron Rodgers is going crazy still. Uh, Even a late Aaron Rodgers is still the best option at this point for the Steelers. We're going to discuss that a little bit. Shador Sanders, we did on the big show on Tuesday night. We did our first round mock draft, me and Big G, and my pick with the Steelers was Shador Sanders. We're going to talk about that and do we like that? And then last, Calvin Austin III, what is his role going to be when Roman Wilson? Because Mike Tomlin is talking about Roman Wilson and him coming back. What is his role? Are they going to battle it out? What's the role going to be for those guys moving forward? Because I got to believe the Steelers are going to give Roman Wilson every opportunity to get on the field, third round pick. I think they're going to give him those opportunities because they really did like him last year, coming out and into the draft. And even in, the offseason stuff, they liked what they saw until he got hurt. So we'll take a deep dive into that and discuss more. We appreciate everybody being in here, man. We got a lot of stuff to discuss. We appreciate it. Again, you guys know what to do. Super chats are wide open. So if you want your comments, questions, or statements up on the screen, you know how to do that. If you want to help support the channel that way, remember, memberships are also available for Steelers Almighty. So 5 separate levels of membership abilities. Obviously, the higher you go, the more access you get. All 22 game films are also available in there. And then you also get your priority. As for being a member, you get your priority access during these lives. So it's always a good time, man. So appreciate everybody. Mr. Vaughn, how are you doing this morning? Night, it always joins us as a member of Steelers Almighty. We appreciate you being in here. Let's get into this. So, Aaron Rodgers coming in late, not coming in, which it doesn't sound like the Steelers really care if he comes to minicamp. I mean, Mike Tomlin pretty much said so, that, it was for learning and development is what minicamp and OTAs were, that they're not doing team development during that time. Well, kind of sounds like it doesn't matter that much if he's there. And maybe that's posturing. I don't know. But that's kind of what it sounded like to me. If you guys think otherwise, please get in the chat. But when somebody says that it's not that important for him to be there, that, hey, this is just for learning and development, we're not doing any team development at that point in the offseason. To me, that sounds like, hey, a veteran doesn't necessarily need to be there. That's what it means to me, which I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm sorry. I just don't like that. He hadn't played with any of these receivers, getting some rapport, putting in hand signals and things of that nature that he wants guys to do. The more repetitions that you get at that, the better everybody can learn and be on the same page that you want them to be on, but whatever. It seems like the Steelers are bending over backwards for Aaron Rodgers at this point. Having said that, is Rodgers the best option for the Steelers to have a good season? People keep saying, hey, let's just run with Mason Rudolph. Let's go with Mason Rudolph. And I understand that sentiment. I totally understand. It's like, hey, can we win 9 or 10 games with a healthy Mason Rudolph? Probably. Can we figure some things out with a healthy Mason Rudolph, that Rudolph never really got a fair shot in Pittsburgh to be the guy? Like, he never got his chance. He was a 3rd round pick behind Big Ben. And then he never got an opportunity to be the guy. I think everybody would say that Mason Rudolph's better quarterback than Baby Hands Pickett. I think people would say that. Most people would say that. But he never got his chance. So now people are saying, well, just go with Mason Rudolph. But my thing is, there's not a sane person on earth that believes that Mason Rudolph is better than Aaron Rodgers. So there's that. So if you think that you could win 9 or 10 games with Mason Rudolph, how many can you win with Aaron Rodgers? And I think, like me as a Steelers fan, I've come to the realization while I get tired of all the off the off season and off the field antics of Aaron Rodgers. I get tired of it. I get tired of the drama. I just don't like dealing with it. I just don't. He's still a good quarterback, and he's better than Mason Rudolph. So he's better than Mason Rudolph. Now there's people in the chat saying 41-year-old turning 42 in December, leading the Steelers. These old QBs should retire somewhere else. Why? Why should they retire somewhere? First of all, people telling somebody else that they should retire is insane to me. I mean, if somebody wants to continue to live out their dream and do it as long as they possibly can, why the hell are we telling somebody to go retire? That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. And my thing is that Aaron Rodgers is better than Mason Rudolph. I don't care what anybody says. I will never take you seriously if you tell me that Mason Rudolph is better than Aaron Rodgers. I don't care. I'll never take you seriously. Ever, ever, ever. And you shouldn't take yourself seriously, because you've allowed whatever hate or disdain that you have for Aaron Rodgers. And don't get me wrong, I was guilty of it early on in this process too. I was very guilty of it. Screw Aaron Rodgers. I don't want anything to do with him. Move on. Well, the Steelers never moved on. They didn't move on. So if my team doesn't move on, then what are we doing? So I don't know. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers did not get 2 head coaches fired. That's again, we're letting emotions get the best of us in the chat already. We just starting in the chat. That's kind of what Aaron Rodgers does, though. He's polarizing. He's polarizing. Now we got people making up stuff, talking about how he got 2 head coaches fired. You can talk about Saleh getting fired. I get it. He didn't get Mike McCarthy fired. That didn't happen. They won a Super Bowl together. Are we going to give him credit for that too, or no? He got Mike McCarthy a Super Bowl. Are we going to give him, oh, well, that was a long time ago. It was. But he also got Mike McCarthy a Super Bowl. So we can't, let's not be hypocritical. Just say we don't like Aaron Rodgers. It's okay to say that. It is okay. Like, nobody's mad at you for saying you don't like Aaron Rodgers, but what we can't do as Steeler fans, or just football fans in general, is just make up stuff because we don't like somebody. Just say you don't like them. It's okay. No, I mean, what? Who the hell am I? Nobody's going to be mad at you. Nobody's going to be mad for not liking Aaron Rodgers. So nobody's going to be mad. Nobody's going to be mad. And it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. So I don't know. That at this point, he's the best option to win this season. Now, there's a lot of people that are saying, well, we're not going to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, so just move on without him. Look, I don't necessarily disagree with you, because I don't think the Steelers are built to win a Super Bowl. I think anything can happen, but I don't think they're necessarily built to win a Super Bowl. But I want you to come with that same venom, that same energy. If the Steelers don't sign Aaron Rodgers and they move on without him, and the Steelers are 5-12 without him, are you going to be okay with that? If they win 7 football games this year, are you going to say, yep, it was the right thing not to sign Rodgers? It was the right thing to do. And if Rodgers goes somewhere else and they end up making the playoffs and making a run or whatever, are you going to be okay with that? Because if you're not, then we can't be hypocritical. We can't be. And don't get on, oh, well, it's fine. No, don't do that. Don't do that. because I think that the bottom line is he's the best option at this point. He's the best option. He's the best option. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. You know, I just find it hard to believe that it wouldn't, you know, but I think he's the best option at this point. My man Mark Malone thinks the Steelers can win this year. I don't necessarily disagree. I'm not going into any season saying the Steelers can't win. I know there's Steeler fans out there that, the sky is always falling no matter what. Steelers could win a Super Bowl and they would say, yeah, they won the Super Bowl this year, but they're losing a lot of football players next year. They would say that an hour after the Super Bowl was open. Like literally the sky is always falling. And it's not just Steeler fans. That's fans in general. Fan is short for fanatic. So my man Vaughn, he says, I think Rodgers is our best shot at winning a couple playoff games. Hey, I'm not going to put the cart before the horse. Just give me one playoff win. Hey, I mean, all this talk of two, hey, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what 2 playoff wins mean. Just give me one. Just one at this point. I will deal with the winning the second one when the time comes. But just give me one win. Just one. So, but that's the whole thing. The sky is always falling for some people, no matter what. And again, look, I don't put a whole lot of stock in Mike Tomlin's never having a losing season. I used to think that was a big deal, but when you can't win playoff games, that doesn't mean anything to me anymore. It literally it doesn't. I think it's cool. I think it's impressive that he's never had one. But as a Steeler fan, do we really care that much anymore? Because to me, I don't care. I'm just, hey, win playoff games. And if you could qualify for the playoffs and never win a regular season game, if you could qualify and you won 2 or 3 playoff games every year, I could care less what the regular season record was. I really could. It wouldn't bother me at all. For instance, like, did Steeler fans, were we mad the last time we won the Super Bowl, but we were the 6th seed? We didn't win the division. We were a 6th seed. We played every road game in the playoffs. We played on the road. Like, were Steeler fans mad that they didn't win the division that year? Or, oh man, we won the Super Bowl, but damn it, we didn't win the division. No, nobody cared. Nobody cared. So this regular season stuff, it's nice. And again, I know you have to play better to get um more favorable circumstances in the playoffs. I get that. But I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. We just need to win playoff games. Some of you in the can. Yinzer Joe says Rodgers is a 4-time MVP, a Super Bowl winner. Rudolph can only win 1 game last season with Tennessee. And he got a little bit of an opportunity with Tennessee. Now, I'm not saying Tennessee had the best roster. I'm not saying any of that. But he got an opportunity to start, and it didn't look great. I mean, it looked so bad, they didn't even bring him back to be the backup. They didn't do any of that. And Tennessee is drafting a quarterback. I mean, they got the first pick. They're taking another quarterback. So he wasn't the answer there either. I don't think they ever thought he was going to be. But at some point, you got to start, okay, what's Mason Rudolph going to do? Now, granted, he's got more weapons in Pittsburgh than what Tennessee had. I mean, hell, there's high school teams here in Texas that got more weapons than what the Tennessee Titans had. But Aaron Rodgers is the best option. Aaron Rodgers is the best option. And as much as we don't have to like him, which is fine, there is nothing wrong with not liking Aaron Rodgers. There is absolutely nothing wrong. Hell, I don't like him. But first of all, it's tough to say I don't like him. Hell, I don't know him. But what I do know and what he gives off to the media and gives off the things that he allows us to see, I don't necessarily like it. But if he can play good football, which we've seen him play good football, that's all I care about, man. Y'all know my philosophy. I don't care. I don't care. Just play good football. Just play good football. And Zay Curry, you're right. Throwing teammates under the bus, that kind of nonsense not going to play. I tell you right now, that shit ain't going to work with being a Steelers. We're not throwing teammates under the bus. We're not doing that. Hell, George Pickens, you see that he wants to say, you saw it several times that he wanted to say the quarterback play was horrible. He didn't even do that. He didn't even say, no, he just wouldn't say anything, which is what you do. You know, you don't have to say anything. Like nobody's forcing you to answer a question. Just move on. Just move on. I don't know how Rodgers is overrated. I don't know how that overrated would mean. The guy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a top 10 quarterback in the history of the National Football League. Being overrated, I don't know what that means. It's crazy talk. He may not be as good as what he used to be. Say that. But to say he's overrated, like, what are you talking about? Is he a top 10 quarterback in the league right now? Probably not. Maybe on the fringe. But overrated, I don't know what that means. It's weird. So, but he's the best option for Pittsburgh. He's the best option at this point. Because he's going to be better than any rookie that we draft. He's better than Mason Rudolph. He's the best option. Unless you think that Kirk Cousins, if the Steelers trade for Kirk Cousins, you think he's a better option? And you would be lying to yourself if you said yes. It's just simple. It's just simple. You would be lying if you said that Kirk Cousins is a better option than Aaron Rodgers. So, and Big G said in the chat that Joe Milton is going to the Cowboys for a 7th round pick. Okay, great. You can have Joe Milton. People think Joe Milton played against the 2s and the 3s in one football game at the end of the season last year against Buffalo and played a good game. I'll give him credit. But everybody, Joe Milton played a great game. We need to trade for him. Joe Milton lost 2 jobs in college, okay? Not one. He transferred. He went to Michigan, lost that job. Then he transfers to Tennessee, lost that job. Jobs that he started out having and played so bad, not, hey, somebody played better. It was a 2-quarterback system and the guy got the job. That is not what happened to Joe Milton in college. He had the job, was starting, and played so bad that they had to replace him with other guys. And why did he play bad, Big B? Because he can't throw a 5-yard slant accurate. That's why. Joe Milton can throw the ball out of the stadium. He can literally throw it over the stands and throw it out of the stadium. His arm is incredibly strong. But ask him to throw a 5-yard slant. Just say, hey, man, we just need you to throw a 5-yard slant in stride, hit the guy in stride. Just do that. Against air. Not against press coverage, against air. Do that 10 times in a row. If he got to 4, it would be incredible. He's just not an accurate passer. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Now you tell me somebody who's much better than him, Mason Rudolph is much better than Joe Milton. I'll take Mason Rudolph all day, every day, and 100 times on Sunday to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers than a damn Joe Milton. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So that's my whole thing. Tad Myers in chat says, maybe, even at his age, Aaron Rodgers is better than Fields, Wilson, Rudolph, and Milton all put together. I don't know about all put together. I don't know about that. but he's definitely better than all of them. Like the allure of Justin Fields, I just never saw it. I just never saw what everybody is screaming about Justin Fields. Like, he played for the Steelers. He did that. And I know, look, I was the first to say, man, they got to take the reins off of him. You know, they're not allowing him to do certain things. And then, as members know, I've been going back and doing all 22. We just did the Cowboys game. We're doing the entire football game. Not Russell Wilson. Justin Fields was absolutely awful in that game. Now, it's true that he led them down the field at the end of the game and got the Steelers the lead, and the defense gave it away. So you have to give him an enormous amount of credit for that, because he did it. He did that. But you just watch that game, 13 for 27 for 131 yards. He was god-awful. Missing guys, not seeing guys that are wide open. Oh, and it wasn't just the Cowboys game that he was bad. He just wasn't very good. And it wasn't that he didn't see stuff, guys. He saw open receivers. He would be looking. You can see on the tape. He's looking at them. He just wouldn't throw the ball. He didn't trust his eyes. Well, if you're not going to trust your eyes in the NFL, then what are you doing? It seemed like he had, and again, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody that has ever been in the military and suffers from this, but it looked like he had PTSD from playing in Chicago, where he was taking all those damn hits and committing all these turnovers, and he just wouldn't let the ball go. It looked like that a lot. So it looked like that a lot. That's all I'm saying. I just never saw Justin. I just never, I never saw I see the talent. He's definitely got the talent, but it's not like he's never played, people. He's played a lot of football, a lot. So at what point do you say, hey, man, all this potential that we keep talking about, when does that get on the field? When does this potential turn into reality? And I think that's the thing about Justin Fields. At some point, you got to say, hey, man, what are we doing? How long do we have to wait for you? You played 4 years in the National Football League. How long do we have to wait? If the Steelers took Baby Hands Pickett with number 20, and they just, after 2 years, they said, nope, we're out. Well, how long does Justin Fields get? It's just my comment. Torsha Jackson says Rodgers didn't play for a year. Russ has played all 3 years. I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, first of all, Aaron Rodgers has never, ever, ever, ever had a season as bad as what Russell Wilson had his first year with the Denver Broncos. Never. Never, ever. So that's just me. Alonzo Dunn with the super chat says Aaron Rodgers is a great talent, not what he once was, but he actually will take the talent of DK and GP to top tier level. He's just weird as all, but he will turn the wide receiver room into the best. That's kind of my philosophy, kind of what I'm thinking too, Alonzo Dunn. He's weird. He's an asshole. He's arrogant. He's a lot of things that a lot of people, including myself, don't like in human beings. Like, he would never be my friend. We're never going to have beers. I'm never having you over to the house. But I can win football games with you. I'll do that. You know, look, I played on a lot of teams growing up, and a lot of you have. I know a lot of you played sports. You don't have to have played top tier in professional or college or anything. You could have played in the YMCA. You played on teams where everybody wasn't your best friend. And the higher you go, you probably played on teams where you literally didn't like somebody else that was on your football team. I know I can speak for myself. I was on Kansas State, and my senior year, we were number one team in the country. There were plenty of guys on that football team that I didn't like didn't hang out with, didn't want to be around, didn't talk to. Plenty of guys. Hell, there were 4 or 5 guys in the offensive line room that I don't think I ever spoke to. But that didn't mean that we couldn't come together on the field. This is the same thing. They don't have to be best friends with Rodgers. Just need to go win. Just need to be able to go win. That's my philosophy. So, that's my philosophy. And we can't blame Arthur Smith for putting handcuffs on Justin Fields, because the one thing that I know Arthur Smith didn't do is say, hey, Justin, look at these receivers. I know they're wide open. Don't throw them the ball. You think Arthur Smith said that? Hey, here's your first read, Justin. Here's your first read. Yeah, that guy's open. Yeah, don't throw that guy the ball. Don't throw him the ball. We want you to look at the second and third read to see if they're open, only for you to scramble. Do you know how often that happened? A lot. Can't blame Arthur Smith for all of Justin Fields' problems. You're not being fair. You're not even being realistic by doing that. It's not all his fault. It's the same thing with everybody blames Mike Tomlin for like offensive linemen. For Dotson. Hey, look at Dotson. He's an all-pro. He was with Pittsburgh and he was terrible. He moves on and he's an all-pro. Mike Tomlin's at fault for that. Okay. I'm not even going to say that you're wrong, because he was playing him out of position. Mike Tomlin can be to blame for that if that's what you want to do. Great. But do you give Mike Tomlin credit for having TJ Watt being a Hall of Famer? For Cam Hayward being a Hall of Famer? Do you give him the same credit? Or do you just say, no, he didn't have anything to do with that? That's what I'm talking about, people. I'll challenge you all the time when we do that. Fair is fair, and what isn't. You know, and you know me. I'm always going to be fair. Right or wrong, I'm going to be fair. So, and yes, Arthur got pissed when Russ threw for 400 yards. Absolutely, that happened. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Too many reports came out and said that because he was doing it his way. But you know what? That's not the first time that an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator or a head coach has gotten mad at somebody for doing things their way, even when it worked. Think Arthur Smith's the only guy who's ever gotten mad at a quarterback for doing things their way, even though they had a great day? He isn't. Coaches have egos, man. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that at all. But also, Arthur Smith being mad at Russell Wilson doesn't have anything to do with Justin Fields being gun shy. So that's all I'm saying. You got to take the good with the bad. And unfortunately, and I'll say unfortunately, Arthur Smith is our offensive coordinator. So it is what it is. It is what it is. And then the offense got worse. You're right, Mark Malone. It got worse. Because I think Russ was like, oh, so you're mad because I changed things, and what I was seeing on the field, I took advantage of a terrible Bengals pass defense. I took advantage of that, and you're mad about it? Okay, we'll do it your way, and let's see what it looks like. Do you really believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to put up with any of that? Do you think Aaron Rodgers, we can say what we want, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to go out and throw for 325 yards and 3 touchdowns, no picks, have a QBR of 97, and go into a meeting and listen to Arthur Smith berate him on what he should have been doing? There ain't no way. There ain't no way. So take some solace in that. You know, Russell Wilson didn't have the mindset because he was trying to resurrect his career. Justin Fields didn't have that mindset because he was just begging for a new opportunity. Aaron Rodgers don't need any of that, so he's not going to listen to that. Alonzo Dunn, a member, thank you. Remember, guys, there's a reason that the Steelers are going against their normal procedures with Rodgers. The organization probably feels that Rodgers is the missing piece with what we've acquired. Boom. See ya, Ollie. Appreciate you coming in, brother. That's what the Steelers are believing, that, hey, with the weaponry that we have, we bring in Aaron Rodgers, we're doing something. We're doing something. Let's move on, people. There's only so much Aaron Rodgers that I can talk about. It makes my stomach ache. So, all right, let's move on. All right. Shedeur Sanders at 21. You know, we had our mock draft on the big show, me and Big G, and, you know, of the entire first round. If you guys haven't seen that, make sure you go check that out. It's in the live that we did on Tuesday for the big show. First of all, we had a good time on Tuesday, boy. I learned something. I probably already knew this about Steeler fans, but I did learn even more. Steeler fans are a bunch of alcoholics, boy. I mean, my God, just a bunch of alcoholics. I mean, we get after it, don't we? I brought up Mike Tomlin got wasted, and everybody under the sun had some. I mean, somebody brought up somebody drinking Thunderbird. I mean, they haven't drank Thunderbird since the early 70s. And that's what Steeler fans are drinking. Number one, that means the Steeler Almighty audience is a little older, you know, a little more gray hair. But drinking Thunderbird, I mean, Thunderbird, that's for the hardcore people. Lord have mercy. Man. But either way, but at 21, Shedeur Sanders, that's who I said. I said he was going to fall. There's some teams that wouldn't take him early, and he falls to the Steelers at 21. I'd take it. I'd take it. You know, take him at 21. Now, Big G said we take Amari and Hampton. I just have a philosophy. You do not take a running back in the first round. Just not, especially in this draft. Not in this draft. When there's so many running backs, and there's some that are better than others, don't get me wrong, but there's no Saquon Barkleys in this draft. There's a lot of really good running backs, but there's no Saquon Barkleys in this. You know, there's no Adrian Petersons in this draft. Come on. Who are we kidding? So there's really good running backs, but nothing like that. Nothing like that. So since there's not, why are we going to draft a guy when we have other needs? You don't draft a running back. And there are a plethora of backs in this draft that the Steelers can get in later rounds. So I wouldn't do that. I don't hate the pick because I love him. I happen to think that Hampton's the best back in the draft. I just don't love him at 21, especially if a quarterback is available, a quarterback that has fallen. So that's my whole thing. That's my thing. And I think Shedeur Sanders, there's a lot of people, he's overrated. Well, first of all, how is he overrated? He's never played a down in professional football. Number two, he was playing behind possibly the worst offensive line. I've been watching college sports for the better part and understanding. Watching and understanding is different, but I've been understanding college football for the better part of 40 years. Never seen an offensive line at that level be that bad for 2 consecutive years. They were awful. I mean, he literally got his back broken his junior year. So that's my thing. That's my thing. So I would take him at 21. He can make every NFL throw. No, he doesn't have the strongest arm. But if you can make every NFL throw, okay. So you don't have a cannon, but you can make every throw. Great. You can be on one hash and throw outside the numbers 20 yards down the field on time and accurate, you know, across the field. You can do those things. You can make that throw. Well, okay. That's all I need you to do. And your football IQ is great. What else are you looking for in a quarterback? Great football IQ. You're an accurate passer, and you can make every throw. What else are you wanting? Like, seriously. Because whether it's a cannon or it's not, as long as he can get the ball where it needs to be because he anticipates so well, it's all you want. Got a new subscriber, man. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. So, and yes, Rodgers is absolutely. You're late, brother, man, but yeah, Rodgers is absolutely the Steelers. Who's the better option? Who's a better quarterback than him? Nobody that's available. Nobody. So stop it. Stop it. Stop it. But that's the whole thing. That is the whole thing right there. Oh, so we're saying that Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart are better quarterbacks than Aaron Rodgers. Brother man's been on that liquor early, people. He's been drinking Thunderbird. He's been drinking Thunderbird early, I might add. Early. And here's the thing. And Jay, you're exactly right. I want a D tackle too, but in the draft that we did, see, we were alternating picks. Oh, I took one, Big G took one. Then I took one. We did a little ping pong draft. In that scenario, Kenneth Grant was gone because, again, I always talk about this: where there's smoke, there's fire. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to take Kenneth Grant at 19. They've kept talking about it. They went to see him. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to take him at 19. So if they're going to take him, we don't have an opportunity for that. So I want a D tackle too. I want him in particular. Now, the only other one was Harmon was available, but I'm just not, I don't know. I don't know. I went quarterback. That's all. I like Harmon. I definitely like Derek Harmon. And the Steelers need a D tackle. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. They need a defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman. Bad, I might add. Bad. So, yeah, I definitely want that. That's all I want to say. I like it. I appreciate it. There's not 4 or 5 D tackles that you're going to take in the first round. Not at the positions that we need. Like Walter Nolan. Where does Walter Nolan fit in the scheme that the Pittsburgh Steelers run? Like, Walter Nolan is great, but he's a 4-3 technique. Steelers don't run that. So he's not a defensive end. He's not a 3-4 defensive end, and he's damn sure not a nose tackle at 280 pounds. So you got to think fit. It can't just be, well, we'll just pick this guy and put him anywhere. You can't do that. Look at Keanu Benton. They did that with Keanu Benton. It hasn't worked out. Keanu Benton is not a nose tackle. Now, the Steelers have put him at nose tackle, but when teams decide they want to run the football in between the tackles, they do it, and Keanu Benton's not big enough. That's not his fault. I mean, he's 305 pounds, and he's having to add weight to be 305 pounds. He's just not big enough to be a nose tackle. That's not his natural position. And we're trying to make it be his position. Don't do that. Just go get a guy that can play it and move Benton to where his natural positions is. Alfred Collins and Tyleik Williams are not first-round guys. They are not first-round guys. And we only did the first round in the draft. But I like both of them, but they're not first-round talents. So we're going to reach for a nose tackle in the first round? I don't think the Steelers can do that. I don't think they can do that. So, but that's where we were. I like Sanders at 21. I think he's pretty good. I know people, well, he's too arrogant. Okay, he's a confident guy. Did it come to backfire in certain games, him talking? Yeah, it did. But in the National Football League, guys talk all the time. All the time. Does it come back to bite them sometimes? Yes. Does it play to their benefit sometimes? Yes. So it is what it is. Mr. Palmer says, hey, Big B. He's a member. What's going on, Mr. Palmer? We appreciate you showing up, my man. So, but we do need a boulder. I agree, Vaughn. We need a boulder at nose tackle. We need a big guy. But that's what I'm thinking. Yes, Mac, Sanders at 21 or Grant if possible. And in the mock draft that we did, Grant wasn't available. Because y'all know how I think y'all know how I feel about Kenneth Grant. If he's available at 21, the Pittsburgh Steelers are, I don't care if Sanders is there or not. And I'll just be honest. If Shedeur Sanders and Kenneth Grant are both available at 21, the Pittsburgh Steelers need to take Kenneth Grant. Period. End of story. So anybody that believes that I think, well, you take Shedeur over Grant, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying if Grant isn't available, then you pivot. But if Grant is available, the Steelers need to take him. End of story. End of story. If Grant's available, you take him over Sanders. So, wow. Yinzer Joe, I'm sorry. I fear that locker room fighting with Sanders. Why would there be locker room fighting with Sanders? Like, who's going to fight with them? What? I mean, first of all, do you really think guys are just coming to fisticuffs? Or are you talking about arguing? They're going to argue with him about not getting the ball? Well, the first way to not get the football is arguing with your quarterback about you not getting the football, especially with a young guy. A young guy is like, hey, man, I'm not listening to this. I'll just throw it to the other guy all the time. Then what are you going to do? What are you going to beat me up? No, you're not. And he's headstrong enough, been trained to be headstrong enough, and he's been beat up enough in college to be like, hey, this is what we're doing. The ball didn't come to you. It'll come to you the next time, but get out of my face, or it'll never come to you. He said that to Travis Hunter all the time. You don't think he's been in those positions before? Come on. Not going to be fighting. I mean, first of all, you don't think Jerry Rice got in Joe Montana and said, hey, man, I'm open. Throw me the ball. Throw me the ball. You don't think top receivers always do that? They do it every play. I was open, man. You missed me. What are you looking at, man? I was wide open. Come on, bro. It was a touchdown. Come my way. Happens every snap when they don't get it. So, got to get past that. You got to get past that. Mac Mob, you're exactly right. Steeler fans need to stop looking at the glass as half empty. You're damn right. Got to stop. At some point, we got to be a franchise and a fan base that says, you know what? We can't continue to do the things that we've always done. Because guess what? It isn't working. We got to be willing to do something different. Got to be willing to do something different, man. It can't always just be, well, we need to do this. This is the safe thing to do. No. So, and we'll figure it out. Hopefully we figure it out. Hopefully we can figure it out. But yeah, the Steelers taking a D tackle. It's got to be the right D tackle. It just can't be anybody. It can't be anybody. And I get it. That effing guy says, I'm just sick of us loading up on defense for the unit to not be elite. Time to start pouring into the offense. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. However, you can't forget about the defense. Because remember, we tried that. Remember the Killer Bees? Offensive line was great. Quarterback. We had Big Ben, AB, Le'Veon Bell. We scored on everybody. But we couldn't stop a soul. We couldn't stop anybody from doing anything. We allowed Blake Bortles to score 45 points on us in a playoff game in Pittsburgh. We allowed that to happen because we couldn't stop anybody. Blake Bortles, for crying out loud, just went up and down the field. So while I want more offense, and I absolutely want more offense, and I'm almost to the point where I would say I'll go back to the Killer Bee situation and take my chances with defense because our offense has been so bad for so long, but you just can't forget about defense. You can't. So I appreciate that, Mr. Mac Mob. One of our first subscribers said he's been a subscriber since before we were at 1K, man. Keep up the good work, bro. I appreciate you. We do the best we can. Thank you for being on board. So that's the whole thing that we have to remember. We want more offense, but you cannot forget about defense. You just can't. Now, do we have to spin crazy like we are? Like, again, I know I always bring it up, and you guys probably get sick of it, but it's the truth. Do we need to keep paying Mika Fitzpatrick $18 million to do the job? And I know he's only doing the job of what the Steelers are asking him. I know he's only doing that. But the fact remains, what the Steelers are asking him to do, you can pay a guy $3 or $4 million to do that. You don't have to give him $18 million. Or if you are going to have him pay him $18 million, then you need to ask Mika to do a hell of a lot more than what he's doing. That's just a fact. And you're right, having all that money on defense. And where'd we end up? 11th last year, 12th in total defense. I'm sorry, $160 million should get me a top 8 defense at the most. More likely, it should give me a top 5 defense for $160 million. Top 5 defense, and nobody can run the football on us or pass. One of the two, the Steelers are either a lockdown pass defense or we shut everything down on the run. For $160 million, we have to be elite at one of those two things, and we're a top 8, more likely a top 5 defense. That was not the case with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's all I'm saying. You know, that's all I'm saying. For that kind of money. Oh, by the way, usually when teams are paying that kind of money on defense, they have 2 great corners. At least one that they're paying a bunch of money to. Do the Steelers have that? I've said it over and over again. You can't be an elite defense if you don't have elite corners. Like, when have you ever heard of a team? Oh, man, that team, they had an outstanding defense, but their corners were average to below average. When have you heard that? Like, never. That never happens. So, I'm just saying, at some point, we got to do things a little different. Lonzo Dunn says, I'm thinking you're not in on Minka right now. Tell us what you really think. And man, I'm just telling you the truth. Here's the thing. Actually, that's false because I'm in on Minka. I think Minka is a great football player. I think Minka can do more. I think Minka is a great football player. But what they're asking him to do on the defense is not $18 million worth or worthy. I think he's capable of doing more, but they're not asking him to do more. They're asking him to just be the last line of defense, playing center field. Well, okay, great. But you don't pay that guy $18 million. You just don't. $18 million players are playmakers that are getting interceptions. If they're a safety, they're playing close to the line of scrimmage. You know, they're making big hits. For instance, you look at Derwin James and what he does for the Chargers versus what Minka's doing for the Steelers. There's a huge difference. Or Antonio Winfield, what he does for Tampa Bay versus what Minka does for the Steelers. And again, it has nothing to do with ability. It has nothing to do with ability. Because, like I said, I think Minka is outstanding. They're just not asking him to do it. They're just not asking him to do it. Self-made said it right. For a goalie. That's basically what it is. Now, here's the thing, and I don't follow soccer, but I'm guessing goalies probably get paid big money because they're stopping goals. I get it, but they ain't getting paid as much as a forward. I can assure you of that. Or a right wing, I can assure you of that. They ain't getting paid that. No sirree, Bob. You think, for instance, a goalie is getting paid what Ronaldo is getting paid? Or Messi? And again, those are the only two soccer players that I know, so that's it. No. Deshaun Elliott should be getting paid Minka money. I don't even know that I would go that far, but split the difference. 9 and 9, I'll take that. But Deshaun Elliott shouldn't be getting paid 3 and Minka 18, not for what they do. No. No, sirree, Bob. But let's move on, people. Calvin Austin III, what's his role going to be with Roman Wilson? There's a lot of us, myself included, thought Roman Wilson's first year was an absolute dog. Just terrible. Just a bust. But he got hurt twice. And there were rumors that he couldn't learn the playbook. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But Mike Tomlin basically came out at the owners' meeting and said, he's expecting a lot out of Roman Wilson. Said that when he got hurt, he didn't get the reps. Then he was working his way back. Then he got hurt again and hurt his hamstring. And they just never felt comfortable putting him on the field because he didn't have the reps. Okay. I get it. But Calvin Austin III took a huge step forward for the Steelers. But he did mention Calvin Austin III struggled for his first 2 years. And then last year he came of age. So Roman Wilson, he's expecting big things out of him. He's expecting him to be a contributor. And some of you will look at it, well, they signed Scotty Miller and Ben Skoranek. First of all, those guys are special teams guys. Skoranek is going to be on the Steelers team. If he's not hurt, he's going to be on the team. For what they like to do, he'll take over the Van Jefferson role because he's a big guy. He can block. He can be on the end line. He can block. Even if you run a outside zone play to his side, excuse me, he can dig out a safety, block a corner. He can do those things. So, Skoranek, like I said, barring injury, he's going to be on the team because he fits what the Steelers are trying to do. The one that may not is Scotty Miller, especially if the Steelers draft a wide receiver, which I think they would be limiting themselves if they don't. So if they draft a wide receiver, and then you got Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin, DK, GP, and Skoranek, like, how many receivers do you need? Like, seriously, how many do you need? I think Scotty Miller's on the team now, but I don't think he sticks. Because they're going to give Roman Wilson the opportunity this year. And that his opportunity is going to come with Scotty Miller. And I think he can be better than him. Or at least the Steelers hope that he can. And if he can't, that's a problem. Alonzo Dunn with a super chat. Appreciate the support, man. Calvin Austin can be a dangerous piece with Rodgers, his value, him and DK running 4-3. Yeah. There's a lot of weapons at the Steelers and a lot of things that they can do. Now, Arthur Smith's got to devise it. Arthur Smith's got to figure that out. But there's some things that they can do. You go 4 wide with GP and DK on opposite sides. And in the slot, you got, let's say you got Freiermuth. And either you got Roman Wilson or Calvin Austin III. Those are some good weapons. See, don't forget about Freiermuth. I know we're down on Freiermuth, especially after that Ravens game, the playoff game. I know a lot of people are down on him. But Freiermuth, if used properly, is a good weapon. And you put him in the slot next to a DK or next to a George Pickens, there's a lot of things that he can do, man. A lot of things. So that's a good point. Alonzo Dunn. It's a great point. So, and somebody brought up, Torsha Jackson brings up Jaden Higgins. I've been high on Jaden Higgins. He ran a faster time at the combine than what I thought he would run. I don't like the idea of trading George Pickens because I think him and DK can be magical. But if the Steelers could assure themselves that they got Higgins, I wouldn't mind if the Steelers traded Pickens and got a second or a third round pick for him. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. Now, if you can't get him, then hey, we can't trade Pickens. But if you can, yeah, yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all. Would not mind that at all. So, but I'm just saying, you got to look at that and just think, what if Roman Wilson is the player that the Steelers and all of us thought he was going to be? Hey, maybe he just needed a red shirt year. He got hurt. Maybe he just needed a year to adjust to how the NFL is. Okay, great. Now what? Maybe we go 5. How many times did the Steelers go 5 wide last year? I'll be honest, I don't think it was ever. And again, you can have Freiermuth on the field and go 5 wide because we heard Mike Tomlin say he is a receiver. He is a tight end in name only. So I don't think the Steelers ever went 5 wide last year. You could do a lot this year. Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson with Freiermuth, GP, and DK. Now the line's got to hold up, but you can do that. You can make that work. So you can make it work. I'm very interested to see what happens with all of that. Kevin Scott says, why not trade Watt? Because you know how the Steelers are, man. We can say that it makes perfect sense to trade TJ Watt. We can say that you could get a big haul for TJ Watt. All those things. The Steelers are not going to do that because the Steelers are, TJ Watt's going to retire a Steeler just like Cam Hayward. We're going to give him the money that he wants. He's going to retire as a Pittsburgh Steeler. And it's not that TJ Watt's bad. I mean, we act like he's finished. He was hurt at the end of last year. Now, I will say this. He was out on the field, and he wasn't producing. You could see that he was playing hurt, but y'all know my philosophy. Just because you're hurt doesn't give you an excuse for bad play. I don't give you that excuse. Like, hey, man, he's hurt, so it gives him an opportunity to play bad. How many games in a row did TJ Watt have 0 stats? Oh, they double-teamed him, Big B. They did. The Ravens didn't. The Ravens saw that he was hurt and were like, we don't need to double-team this guy. We'll just block him with a rookie. They just said no. Or if that's all it takes, hey, we're just going to double-team him and take him out of it. Okay, great. You know who also gets double-teamed and still makes a ton of plays is Myles Garrett. Now, the difference is Myles Garrett moves up and down the line. They never know where he's going to line up on a certain play. That's him. But, as far as TJ is concerned, I mean, being hurt, I get it, but I'm not giving you an excuse. If you're out there, produce. If you can't produce, come off the football field. Now, you could say, well, him just being out there, they have to account for him. And you're right. But when you're compromised so much that you can't do anything, then what's the point? That's why I say I don't give people any excuse for being hurt for playing bad. Like not for me. Now, other people, if you want to give them an excuse, be my guest. I just don't do that. I don't do that. And saying that Myles Garrett got 40 pounds on TJ, so? What difference does that make? I mean, so? So he got double teamed. He still makes plays. Well, he's bigger than him. Okay. Again, we act like TJ Watt's garbage. That's not the case. It's not the case. You just got to do more. And part of that is TJ Watt's problem. Part of that is his problem because he doesn't like to move. He doesn't like to move up and down the line. So I just don't know. I just don't know. Again, I like TJ. He's got to do more. He's got to do more. Campbell, I saw somebody getting after Mr. Campbell. He's saying that Roman is too small for this league. He's with the big boys now, and he can't hang. So hurting your ankle and tearing your hamstring means you can't hang with the big boys? What? I just don't understand that. Oh, you act like that Roman Wilson's the smallest football player that's played in the National Football League. I think that's an uneducated statement, but come on, man. We don't know that. I don't know. Well, Yinzer Joe brings up a great comment. Says, what happened to Highsmith's production? He's got to help TJ by pressing. I feel like he's digressed. No, he didn't. First of all, Highsmith got hurt too. Him and Herbert. All three of them got hurt during the year. How many games Highsmith missed last year? Was it 5, 6? Here's the thing. Teams figured out the Steelers because we were so vanilla. It wasn't hard to figure out. You can chip with the tight end or just put a tight end on TJ's side. Got to use him, go around him. They chipped on the backside with a running back on Alex Highsmith. They double teamed in the middle on Cam. And then they said, your other guy can't beat one-on-one blocks. Period. And the Steelers couldn't get a pass rush. That's all they did because the Steelers didn't twist. They didn't slant. They didn't bring zone blitzes. They didn't do anything. They were just so vanilla. Well, if you're going to be vanilla, we're going to figure you out. I mean, we watch film too, and that was it. I mean, that's not hard to diagnose. That is not hard to diagnose at all. Put a tight end on TJ's side, chip with the back on Alex Highsmith's side, use a center and the guard to double team Cam, and the other guard will block your other guy one-on-one, and that's it. That's all we're doing. And you're not going to blitz, so we don't have to worry about somebody coming off on a blitz. You're not going to bring linebackers. You're not going to do double A gap blitzes or double A gap stunts, cross dog blitzes. You're not going to do any of that. So since you don't, simple. So, but we'll see. We'll see. But I'm very interested to see it. Mark says before I'd give TJ an extension, I would explain to him he needs to move to all positions on the line to maximize his production. You're absolutely right, Mark. You are 100%. Hey, TJ, great. We're going to give you this extension, but brother, you're going to move up and down this line. We're going to do these things. We are going to do these things. So you are exactly right. My man Forever, 412, who's a member, appreciate you, man. People in here talking crazy. Yeah, they're just passionate. They say crazy stuff, don't get me wrong, but we're just passionate. We're passionate. Lonzo Dunn, thank you for the super chat. Said way too vanilla. It looks amateurish. Yeah, it did. At the end of the year, it looked amateurish. You go back and look at that Kansas City Chiefs game. That looked like a JV defense. Couldn't get lined up, couldn't cover guys. It looked like a JV defense. Now, you can say, hey, they're playing against the Chiefs. I don't care if you're playing against them or not. Guys shouldn't be wide open. Like the number one thing to take away in the passing game for the Kansas City Chiefs is Travis Kelce. It's been that way for the last 5 years, since Tyreek Hill left. So call it 4 years. It's been that way. How does he get wide open on 4 or 5 plays where there isn't a Steeler? There was one play, there wasn't a Pittsburgh Steeler within 15 yards of him, and he's catching a football. How does that happen? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you talk about amateurish. There's some amateurism for you. So Forever says Tomlin's got to take his hands off the defense and allow a real defensive coordinator to come in. I mean, I think we've all said that. You're 100% correct. But Tomlin's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. Which is why he kind of has these puppets as defensive coordinators. Because we all know that Tomlin is the guy who's running it. So you are exactly right, man. You're exactly right. So anyway, I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for showing up and showing out like you guys always do today. I appreciate it. Make sure you show up tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Time. We'll have our podcast going then. So I appreciate that. Other than that, man, it's a good one. It's been a good week. Hopefully, we can get some more stuff resolved this weekend. Y'all know if anything pops off this weekend, I'll be up and live and we'll be at them. Probably do a little town hall on Saturday morning. We'll see how all that goes. So until then, remember, memberships are available. Make sure you sign up if you want to help support the channel that way. Again, several different levels of tier of content. But one of the things to remember, man, remember to like, follow, subscribe. Do me a favor. Once you get out of this live and it shuts down, go into the video, click the like button, and leave a comment, man. So we got a show coming out. I don't know exactly the day that we're going to put it out, but we're putting together a quarterback show, QB show where we've got a guy that's what he does. He writes for several different publications for the National Football League, and he covers quarterbacks. We got him coming in to evaluate quarterbacks. So we're going to get that content out to you guys too, man. We're just constantly thinking of different ways to bring you guys good content. So appreciate you. Thank you. We will talk to you guys soon, man. Aloha.